In the year 444 BC, a man named Nehemiah stood before the ruined walls of Jerusalem, facing a devastation that mirrored the inner chaos many feel today. He did not have gold or an army, yet he possessed a hidden law of growth that remains invisible to the modern eye. You might feel that your life is currently a collection of broken stones, stagnant and silent. You watch others climb while you remain anchored to the same frustrations, year after year. Have you ever wondered why your hardest efforts lead to the same empty results? The secret is not found in a new strategy or a stroke of luck. It lies buried in an ancient principle of responsibility that most people are too afraid to touch. If you continue on this current path, where will you be in 5 years? The clock is ticking loudly, and the silence of your untapped potential is becoming deafening. Today, we strip away the illusions of modern luck to reveal the heavy, golden truth of true maturity. Something is about to shift in your understanding of progress. The final question is simple. Are you truly ready to face the reflection staring back at you? Imagine walking through the silent, echoing halls of the Babylonian palace, where every step reminds you of a frantic search for security. Young Daniel, taken as a captive, possessed no gold or titles, yet he held a clarity that no empire could ever buy or destroy. He understood that a solid life does not begin with the accumulation of external goods, but with the rigorous organization of every decision made in the soul. Have you ever noticed how your energy is drained by worries that build nothing concrete for your future? That sensation of running on a treadmill, exhausted but stationary, is the symptom of an internal system that has lost its fundamental axis. In ancient times, masters taught that external chaos is always a faithful reflection of the disorder we allow to inhabit our most intimate thoughts. When you neglect today's small task, you are sabotaging the great monument you wish to build tomorrow. The error imprisoning most people is not a lack of opportunity, but a chronic inability to maintain discipline when no one is watching. It is easy to be productive under the spotlight, but real authority is forged in the darkness of hidden moments. Daniel did not become influential by luck, but because he decided his principles were worth more than the temporary comforts of the royal table. He understood that growth requires a deliberate renunciation of what is easy in favor of what is eternal. Perhaps you are waiting for a massive, transformative event, while the key to your change is hidden in your morning routine. Modernity sells the illusion that success is a sudden leap, when it is actually a steep staircase built with daily consistency. The silent regret you feel is an alarm that your capacity is being wasted by your own choices. Imagine the suffocating weight of silence pressing against Samson's shoulders when he realized his monumental strength was now nothing more than a bitter memory. He possessed an extraordinary destiny, yet he allowed a lack of direction and uncontrolled impulses to destroy the very foundation of his existence. How many times have you, like him, felt that you held the entire world in your hands, only to watch it crumble because of decisions made in the heat of a moment? The fall of a person rarely happens because of sudden external blow, but through small, silent concessions made in the dark shadows of daily self-sabotage. Samson's fatal error was not the loss of his secret, but a chronic negligence toward the high purpose entrusted to him since his birth. He confused his natural talent with immortality, forgetting that true authority requires constant vigilance over one's own inner weaknesses and hidden desires. Have you noticed how the cycle of starting and quitting has become the standard rhythm of your personal journey in recent times? This constant oscillation drains your vital energy and leaves a trail of unfinished projects and empty promises made before your own mirror. The danger of living without a clear direction is that any distraction becomes an acceptable destination, even if it leads you far from your real potential. Self-sabotage is a seductive voice whispering that you will have enough time tomorrow to fix what you are inconsequentially destroying today. But time is a merciless resource that accepts no excuses for opportunities wasted in exchange for momentary and futile pleasures. When you allow internal chaos to govern your choices, you are handing the keys of your life over to the hands of chance and mediocrity. Imagine standing before a city in ruins, where the smell of ash still lingers and the silence is broken only by the wind blowing over fallen stones. This was exactly where Nehemiah stood, facing the collapsed walls of Jerusalem, carrying a deep sorrow but an even greater determination. He did not possess an elite army or infinite treasures, but he held the secret that separates true rebuilders from those who merely lament their own misfortune. The first great lesson for anyone seeking clarity today is understanding that no solid structure is born of chance, but of a plan executed with precision amidst chaos. Nehemiah did not begin the work by shouting empty orders. He first inspected the breaches during the night, in total silence and absolute discretion. He knew that to change external reality, he first needed to map the weaknesses that allowed the enemy to invade in the past. Have you stopped to inspect the breaches in your own life? Those small habits that drain your energy and allow stagnation to settle in comfortably? Real growth begins the exact moment you decide to stop making excuses and start carrying the first brick. Rebuilding requires you to hold a tool in one hand and a sword in the other, symbolizing both action and constant vigilance. Modernity tries to convince you that success is an instant event, but ancient wisdom shows it is a process of rigorous organization. The clarity you seek will not fall from the sky as an isolated miracle. It will emerge when you decide to put order into your time and relationships today. If you cannot govern what is small, you will never have the authority to sustain what is truly great and lasting. Your life is not an accident, but a project awaiting your leadership. By carefully observing the journey of Nehemiah, we begin to realize the burden of stagnant life is not an unavoidable fate, but a silent construction made of tiny and silent omissions. The wall of your personal dignity is not raised with grand speeches or empty promises, but with a humble willingness to face the rubble of your own daily routine without turning your gaze. Perhaps your private Jerusalem is currently in ruins because you trusted far too much in the illusions of chance and far too little in the steady discipline of the small stone place today. The history of these ancient men is not merely a report from a distant past, but a mirror reflecting your most intimate battles and hidden fears at this very moment. The decision to rebuild requires you to abandon the position of a passive spectator of your own tragedy and finally assume the role of the master architect of your legacy. Every small habit you neglect is a dangerous breach that allows internal chaos to settle in comfortably, while every conscious choice acts as a new layer of protection for your future. Do not wait for perfect conditions to start acting, because true wisdom resides in the capacity to build something solid while your hands are still covered in the dust of the ruins. The clarity you seek will only be born from the friction of constant movement and the quiet courage to say no to the distractions that promise relief but deliver emptiness. Your life is the most important monument you will ever have the privilege to edify, and time is the only resource that accepts no refunds. If you feel that this is the moment to stop merely surviving and you truly desire to start building a story of maturity, assume a pact right now. If you believe that you still possess the strength to reorganize your reality and want to mark this new chapter, write in the comments. I am committed to rebuilding my own history. This symbolic act is your first step to escape inertia and regain the government of your own journey. For those who wish to deepen these eternal principles, I have left the Prosper Method Guide in the description for your personal growth. The times change. The principles remain. I am a seeker of truth, and this was another episode of Eternal Principles. Until the next principle.